What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is a Smark Show, Outta Nowhere Edition, where we're here to talk about our top 5 dream matches. Nick Tricombe.
Mike Cap.
Steve Herman, what's up?
Alright, so, Cap, why don't you explain a little bit about what this is, since this was pretty much your idea.
We were going back and forth trying to think on what to do for the show when we put it together. And we obviously knew that we were going to do the recap shows and the reviews, but we wanted to do something else where we didn't feel as restricted, where we could just talk about wrestling, and this kind of sprung forth. I remember I was talking about it. I remember Steve said something big about it, so we
Feel like
we
this
wanted
is
to do a countdown, and the first one that really popped into our head was dream matches, because, I mean, what better way to start it?
right. I feel like this is just a positive atmosphere this whole time, with these matches. Like, with the Raws, it's sometimes negative. Like,
Sometimes.
well, a good amount. Like, this is something fun we're always going to get to do when we get the chance to do these, I think.
Yeah, we teased this about, 6 months ago. It's finally here, so...
It's been a long time coming.
I think 3 weeks ago is more like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, to sum up what this is just an offshoot from the main shows, and we thought the perfect way to title them was Out of Nowhere Edition, simply because we don't know when exactly we're going to do these kind of shows, and I get that Out of Nowhere meme pretty much sums it up.
Yep.
Yeah,
For sure.
We definitely might come out with 3 of these in a row before we come out with a recap, or we might go 4 weeks without having one of these. So
Exactly.
it's whenever we have a cool idea of something that we want to put our own personal stamp on in wrestling.
Depending on schedules as well.
I mean, I'll admit the latter one you said is probably way more likely.
Yeah.
But, alright, I'm just going to run down how we're going to get through this list. Now, before we start recording, each of us made up a list of the top 5 matches we most want to see. These could take guys from the past, guys from now. I mean, it can mismatch the new and the old.
It could be matches that can never happen, but we would like to see if it was able to.
That too. So, how we're going to present them is first, we all came up with one honorable mention, and we'll go honorable mentions, then 5, 4, 3, 2, then 1. We'll each kind of present ours. So I'll do my honorable mention, then you, then Cap, then Steve, and then we'll move in to the list itself.
Okay.
So, Cap, why don't you get us started?
My honorable mention, my dream match, is to see legends in NXT history, Blake, take on Murphy in a one-on-one match. It's this tag team that's just been dominating for close to decades now in the NXT indie circuits. So
Would Alexa Bliss be the special guest referee?
yeah, of course.
This is a good way to start off the dream match.
Goes without saying. So I'm gonna go with Blake versus Murphy. It's gonna be a technical masterpiece, and I couldn't be happier as a wrestling fan than to see 2 absolute legends like that go head to head.
I can't help but detect a hint of sarcasm.
It's false. Blake and Murphy, the best ever.
All right, then.
Wait, is that serious?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
You'll never know.
Oh, come on. You gotta have a better... whatever.
So, Steve, what is your honorable mention? For
Okay,
your dream
mine's
match?
kind of realistic. Well, I would like this if it was able to happen. Seth Rollins versus Edge. I thought this would have been a perfect match if Edge was able to compete, but he got his career ended very shortly. And I thought this would be main event material match. You could make this a ladder match, any kind of match you want. I just think both these guys are great workers in the ring. Edge and Seth Rollins could tell a really good story in this ring, and I just think it'd be a really good match. It got out of my top 5, but it's very close. I had a tough decision when I was making this list. But yeah, I think Edge and Seth Rollins would be very interesting. The Ultimate Opportunist versus the Architect of the Shield.
Okay. And mine, I mean, I had a few to be honest, but this is one where it's ridiculous. There's no chance in reality that this can ever happen.
Nope.
But if we could find a way...
I'm very close to releasing a cloning machine, so you hold on to that.
If we can just somehow reach into another dimension or something like that. But I want to see 03, 04 Cena, Thugonomics Cena versus present day Cena.
Oh, Dr. Thugonomics takes it 100%.
Imagine just like this stare down in the ring. Like how weird that would be, but how awesome that would be.
There would be so many cheap pops that the place would just crumble on itself.
That's what I
can
like
just
seeing the
imagine.
Dr. Thugonomics days. I mean, that would be really cool if that was able to ever happen.
Yeah, Steve was a giant Cena fan back in the day.
I still respect the hell out of him, but I'm just not I don't like him as much.
But I can just imagine just like young Cena just standing
with
there
his
in the
jersey.
ring, No, but just staying in the ring, staring down like his future, to him his future self, but modern day him to us. It's just like, I am you. You are me. Thugonomics is in your blood.
Yeah.
Turn heel.
It gets so meta.
I'll actually give a real one. I was very much joking about Blake and Murphy. The one that I was really getting close to putting on my list, but it just stayed off the fringes, would be a classic nation versus nation, America versus Canada, Kurt Angle versus the Hitman Bret Hart. I think that would be just an absolute clinic of a wrestling match. If you could give them 60 minutes or 2 out of 3 falls, just something cool like that, where you don't put too much gimmicks into it. It's just pure wrestling.
Something like what they did with Angle and Benoit.
Yeah.
You don't need much of a story.
It would be phenomenal.
Exactly.
You have,
two of the best technical wrestlers in the world.
depending on who's the heel, you would put, if Angle's the heel, you play it in Canada and let them go back or face to face. No outside interference, just let them bang it out in the ring, and whoever comes out's the better man.
It's a shame Hart's career ended shortly because he had that stroke in the early 2000s. Because they might be able to work a match if they settle their differences between Brett and Vince and WWE. That would have been really cool if that ever was able to happen.
Yeah, but those are all of our honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Three
good ones, I think.
3 pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, pretty interesting ones.
I got to give Nick the hats off here with the Super Cena.
Yeah.
versus the
He's been
Doctor
saying
of
that.
Thugonomics.
He's been saying that for a while now. So
Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the actual top 5 list. So,
yeah,
Mike, your 5th match you most want to see, your 5th favorite dream match.
Yeah, it's crazy that I'm going to say this one's number 5 because all of these matches are ones that I would kill to see. But coming in 5 would be the man Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar.
yeah.
2 people who are currently, as of this podcast, on the WWE roster. So this is a match that could very much happen in the future.
And ironically enough, that is also my 5th top dream match.
Yeah, there we go.
Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar. Cap, I think you summed it up the best way possible when Kevin Owens debuted on WWE the first time. You just heard his theme and you're like, dude, he is the next Brock Lesnar.
Yep. He has such a presence with everything that comes along with his overall package, from him walking out, if he's stern face and just set on the match, or if he comes out and he's mouthing off to fans, or just yelling obscenities like he appeared to do before Brooklyn Takeover.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens just has this just aura about him that intensity's coming. And speaking of, here comes the pain, Brock Lesnar.
Fight Owens, fight.
There's another guy who has that aura of just absolute brutality every time he steps out, especially more in recent days. So to see those two go into a ring and collide head to head,
it'd be incredible.
yeah, fireworks would go off everywhere. It would just be an absolute vicious match.
It really would.
And the cool thing about it, I think, would be their actual ring psychology is more than just the way that they are physically. They're both pretty big guys. Lesnar's obviously hulking over Kevin Owens. But Kevin Owens as a wrestler reminds me a lot of Edge, the Ultimate Opportunist, where he's going to do whatever it takes for him to win that match. And for someone like Lesnar, you have to pick at their weak points. And I think Kevin Owens would be a wrestler who could do that realistically. So that's a match they both walk in. You don't know who's going to come out the victor.
Both excellent sellers as well.
But that's also a match that you can make that a 30-minute Iron Man match, a 60-minute Iron Man match. Those guys can just take bumps again and again, especially Lesnar.
It'd be interesting to see Lesnar in an Iron Man match. I don't think he's ever been in one. That'd be really cool.
I think Owens is a guy to get him through it, too.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Owens can work any style. And,
For sure.
Both of them, I feel, excel in a brawl. And
Yeah.
you let them go out there pouring blood, throwing each other through
It
barricades.
would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah. So, Nick, you want to comment on that since you also had that one?
I had it too.
In addition that I didn't ramble?
I mean, I kind of did too. Like I said, you can throw them into a 30-minute Iron Man match, a 60-minute Iron Man match. If you're not confident enough in Brock Lesnar to do that, I mean, Owens can get him through it. And, I mean, these guys... Owens, to me, is a lot like Brock Lesnar, but there's a bit more finesse to him. He has a bit more agility to his style. And then, Brock Lesnar is just complete brute force, but... I mean, yeah, these guys can...
They would kill it. I mean, it would be... I think this would have to be like a WrestleMania-type match.
Yeah. I think this would be one of the all-time greats. Me and Nick both had it number 5. Steve is going to have it somewhere on his list as well. We'll
Yeah.
get to it when we get to it, just so he can have his own moment to talk about it.
Thank
you. Steve, what is your number 5?
Yeah, mine's a little different compared to everyone else's. I think this match would just be absolutely incredible, and that's Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Doesn't need to be a title match, just them. If them two just fought each other in a one-on-one match, give them like 30 minutes, oh my God, they would tear the damn house down, man. That would just be, no DQ, you can do whatever with these guys. Even with just the thought of these two guys fighting, the Demon versus the Architect, it'd just be incredible, I think. I don't know what you guys think.
That's a cool angle too, because you have the first NXT champion
Exactly.
versus the current NXT champion, or at least in the
Right.
in the current context.
Exactly.
And again, just like with me and Nick's number 5, this is one that could very well happen, and I would bet my life on it that we're going to see this
And
match at some point.
I can't
if
wait.
both of these guys remain in the WWE.
I can't wait till it happens. Like it would. These guys are probably two of the best workers in the world, but both in their respected brands right now as well. And Finn Balor is arguably the best in NXT, and Seth's arguably the best in WWE right now. You could do that, and that would work right now.
Yeah, and
That storyline would be amazing.
they're both in their primes, pretty much.
Oh,
as
absolutely.
we say this. Well, Seth, I would say
Seth's not even in his prime yet.
Yeah, Seth's even before his prime. He's
Finn
not
is
even
too.
30 yet.
Finn's 34.
Yeah.
He could keep going.
He's still owning his craft.
Finn's
down
in
there at
excellent.
NXT.
Finn's in excellent shape for his age. He can keep going till he's like 50 plus.
Yeah, so
So
that,
as
that'd
well
be
as
awesome.
Seth. Yeah,
And-
I would really like that match.
Just to clarify, any match involving Finn involves the War Paint, right?
Oh, duh.
Of course.
It's because it's going to be a big pay-per-view
Now,
fill.
here we go. On the spot question here. If you could pick any paint that Finn Balor comes out for in that match, what would it be? Obviously, in the WWE, he's only really used the Demon mainly, but
Can I be like fantasy book and can it be like
paint that he's used before.
Oh, okay. I know exactly what I would do. Joker.
Yep, that's my favorite too.
If he came out as the Joker, I'd lose my shit. That would be amazing. What would you think, Nick? What would you pick for Finn?
I like what he has right now in the WWE, but
I think he's going to change it up eventually.
probably probably closer to Carnage, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be sick too. He just pulls it off great. I mean, these guys, they would just tell a great story in this match. I just would totally love it.
All right, so on to number 4, Kat.
Yeah, my number 4, again, it kills me to put this as number 4 because it's such a great match. But we're going to go with the Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin, versus the unstable Dean Ambrose.
I have that too.
Yep. Dean Ambrose.
Dude, did you look at my list?
No, that's pretty crazy. Dean Ambrose versus Stone Cold Steve Austin would just be absolutely amazing for not only a match but for a feud.
The business overall.
Yeah, a lot of people, I'm sure most people listening to this know him, but Dean Ambrose, when he was John Moxley before Dean Ambrose, he showed a lot more Austin-esque traits that it's a main reason why he gets a lot of the Austin comparisons now. But to see those two be able to go off on each other and just the backstage attacks, the mind games, it would just be phenomenal. And then when the actual match hits off, neither of these guys are technical wizards. They're both really good workers, but you're not going to come out there and put on a technical masterpiece like someone like Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle. They're not going to come out there and do that kind of stuff. They're going to go out there and they're going to brawl all around the ring. They're going to throw each other into the barricades. You're going to see 100 clotheslines and 50 Lou Thez presses.
30 stunners.
Yeah, it would just be absolutely amazing.
Yes, it would. It really would. I mean, it's not on my list, but that's another match that's very close. I mean, I remember Nick brought it up the one time, and I'm like, that would be an absolutely incredible match. I mean, just between the two. Like, Ambrose right now is the modern day, I would think, Stone Cold right now. Not exactly like him, but a different version, and I think it would be really cool.
Well, yeah, just kind of bouncing off what both you said. I mean, like you said, Kat, these guys are both brawlers, but sometimes you just need that match where it's an absolute brawl. And, Steve Austin was built up as, the Attitude Era's anti-hero, probably the ultimate anti-hero in WWE.
I'll say wrestling
Probably history. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and, Dean Ambrose is probably, the first guy since then to even come close to that. So it's just kind of like, it's kind of like the same style clashing together, but that would probably turn into a good feud. And also just the creative angle. I think one of the most memorable things Steve Austin ever did was drive the beer truck down the ramp into the ring. And I mean, Ambrose comes in with just ketchup and mustard dispensers. Like, just me thinking about, like, the angle that feud would take, the crazy shit they would try and do. I mean, that's mainly why I want to see this match, just to build up to it.
And, you know, as you said right there, you can take the eccentric part of their character like that, where Austin's going to come down in a beer truck, or Dean Ambrose is going to come down, you know, with the ketchup and mustard and hot dog cart, or you could go even the dark route with their characters. And WWE doesn't like to talk about this that often, but when Steve Austin went to Brian Pillman's house...
I don't think they did do that again.
I'm not saying they would. I'm just saying Steve Austin goes to Brian Pillman's house, a gun's drawn. You know, the sponsors weren't too happy with that.
No one was.
But that's Steve Austin in a real dark angle. Now, Dean Ambrose goes back to the Jon Moxley type angles. You could get a sinister, almost like... I feel like the Punisher, the comic, the Punisher. I feel like you could get something dark and gritty like that from those guys.
That would be really interesting.
Hell, they could fight in a grocery store, for all I care.
Stone Cold and Booker T did that.
Yeah.
2001.
Yeah, but Ambrose would actually fight Austin.
Oh, well, yeah, Booker
It
T.
would just be Booker T getting smacked around.
Oh, yeah,
in the
Booker T got
grocery
attacked
store.
from behind. That
Frozen
was funny.
pizzas.
Yeah, he got milk. He had drenched all over him. That was funny.
So, yeah, that was my number 4. It's also Nick's.
Steve, you're number 4.
Yeah.
My number 4 is, again, different from theirs, and that's another great, worthy matchup for them, too. Mine is Daniel Bryan versus Kurt Angle. And I think this match definitely should happen in the coming years, because Kurt Angle's years are almost ending wrestling-wise. And this match, they don't even need to have a storyline for this. This match would just steal the damn show. Just the technical wrestling these two guys are, amazingly, like, good. Like, whether you like Daniel Bryan or not, or Kurt Angle or not, it would just be an incredible match. And, like, these guys could go for an Iron Man match, being amazing.
And you got your story right there, how you said they don't really need a story. All they need to do is Kurt Angle comes back and says, I'm still the best wrestler this company's ever seen. Daniel Bryan's music hits.
Or you say, like, I have the ultimate respect for you, Daniel Bryan, but I'm still better than you.
Yep.
And then you have that. There it is, right there.
Yeah, you
That's
have a
all you
true
need.
champion versus a true champion going at it. Both of their hearts on their sleeve.
That's a WrestleMania match.
You're going to see suplexes, flying knees, holds,
diving
everything.
headbutts, suplex after suplex after suplex, running, everything, man. They would just tear the house down, and I think fans want to see this, I think. People want to see Kurt Angle back in the WWE, especially me. I love Kurt Angle, and I think we would all agree with that. He's such a good worker, and I just want this match to happen. It would be great for Kurt.
At the rate TNA's going, that could happen soon enough.
Well, Kurt's leaving by the end of the year, and he's taking the year off, so anything can happen in WWE, as they always say.
For our number 4s, me and Nick both had Austin and Ambrose. Austin is currently retired. There's speculation that he may return at some point for a WrestleMania match or one last quick little run. You'll have both sides of the arguments there, so that match might not be able to happen, but Steve still definitely has a chance of happening. Daniel Bryan's out on injury right now. Kurt Angle is currently in TNA, but a few months ago he was on the brink of signing with WWE.
Yes,
if
he
you
was.
listen to the dirt sheets. So, again, more matches that might actually have a chance of happening.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
I'm trying to be realistic, but I do like the ideas of Austin coming back too, so it's pretty awesome.
All right, so that brings us to number 3. Cap?
I am going to go with my favorite wrestler of all time, The Undertaker, and he is going to be taking on a new school guy, someone who's already on my list, Kevin Owens. Yet again, he makes his way onto my top 5. Owens versus Taker, for me, would be a WrestleMania match where the streak was still intact. That's how I envisioned this when I was, putting up my top matches. Me and Steve had talked about it before. Owens should have been the guy to break Taker's streak.
He was up there.
Should have done it. Realistically, it makes sense that Brock Lesnar beat it, but if you had fantasy booking like we're talking about right now, Owens going against Undertaker, Owens, the prize fighter, going against the ultimate prize, if you would equate it to big game hunting, what's a bigger grab than the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak?
It was the ultimate championship.
Yeah, there's none.
That didn't need a belt.
So you see Kevin Owens going in there. Undertaker's going to try his psychological attacks building up to this match, but Kevin Owens doesn't seem like someone who's going to break to that. He's going to hit him right back with psychological attacks of his own. He's going to attack him when he's not paying attention, or trick him like he did to Sami Zayn. But the match itself would just be phenomenal. Taker, in my opinion, is the most versatile big man of all time in the company. That guy can work any style of match. He can work any pace. He could do a submission match. He can do a bloody brawl.
He worked with Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, he can climb a ladder. He could do whatever you want him to do. And Kevin Owens is the exact same thing, just not a big man. So you put those two together, let them go at a WrestleMania event where Kevin Owens upsets Undertaker at the end, breaks his streak. I think that would be one of the coolest pops in wrestling history. And one of the best matches of all time.
I think that would be really interesting just to see them two in a match together. I mean, just to see how they would work. Because Kevin Owens, he works so great, but like people would be like, I don't know how he's going to do with Undertaker. Like, because Undertaker's a little older now. That would be really interesting.
Well, no, this isn't. This isn't current day Undertaker. This is Prime. This is Prime versus Prime.
Oh well, then this would be absolute disgusting.
Yep.
Because Undertaker's my favorite of all time too, and surprisingly, I don't have him on here. But that would be something else, man. Oh, Kevin Owens versus that would be a split. I think that'd be a big split between the fans. But I think more would be favoring Undertaker. I think in that match, that's definitely a WrestleMania match, of course. Yeah. A lot of these matches are WrestleMania matches for sure. Yeah, because these are the dream matches. You want them to be at the biggest moment possible. So I mean, Kevin Owens would be I think one of the most perfect guys to be able to break that streak if it wasn't broken already, which I completely disagree with. But that's for another story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that could still happen. So,
you got any opinions on it, Nick? Or you want to jump right into your top three or your number three?
I mean, I can't really add anything to what you guys already said, other than it would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it'd be a surreal moment to say the least.
Yep.
Kevin Steen.
Real, true passing of the torch. That's what should have happened with
Taker's
Taker's
streak.
Streak.
Definitely.
But,
I have something similar.
Fantasy booking.
I have something similar to it, but that's a couple slots down the line. So I'll just jump into my number three then. Seth Rollins versus Triple H. For me, I mean, Seth Rollins is the heel corporate champion right now.
Yep.
You can argue that the Authority is the only reason he has the belt, at least storyline wise. And to me, Triple H is, the corporate champion of the Attitude Era, or at least developed into that kind of role. So I think it would be really cool to see. And it seems like they might be building toward that right now. Just with Seth Rollins kind of, turning against the Authority a little bit, Triple H kind of... You can see them just kind of starting to disagree with each other slowly.
Yeah.
So that might be leading to a full break. So this is one that is really in the realm of possibility.
It's been kind of weird, though. I thought the turn would have happened already, honestly, Triple H. Because there's rumors that Triple H might be fighting Rock, but that's for another story. But Seth Rollins and Triple H, man. Boy, Triple H could still work at his age. Even if this is prime Triple H, man, versus Seth Rollins. Oh, my God.
I mean, when you step back and look at it, too, Triple H isn't that old.
No,
he's still go for a while.
He's going to be going for a while. I mean, he's with this company for...
He's 46, right?
Yeah, he's going to be going to this company until he's like Vince's age, so...
Yeah, and this is one that I think actually has a strong chance of happening this year, possibly at WrestleMania or Royal Rumble.
I think before Mania, but yeah.
You definitely see, as you said, the cracks are starting to show in the Authority's relationship with Seth Rollins. There's another friend of the Authority and Sheamus holding the Money in the Bank contract that, aims at the Authority's golden boy, Seth Rollins, because he's holding the belt.
Yep.
So your number three dream match definitely has a potential of happening.
And
at some point, yeah.
And just to point out finishers, I mean, the curb stomp is gone, so Seth Rollins adopted the pedigree. So you have a match where it's just pedigree versus pedigree. You're throwing the pass down finisher. They're throwing it back and forth between one another. And I think this is another one where NXT comes into this match. You have the very first guy, the very first champion that Triple H built up, and here he is taking him on in the ring. I think that would be a really cool moment, considering Triple H is really like the face of who created NXT.
Yeah, and it would be great if Triple H put him over as well.
Yeah,
that's the ultimate passing of the torch, kind of. Even though it'd be like a storyline gimmick, with him being the heel and one being the face, right?
Yeah, is
that how you would book it?
Yeah, this is a match where it would be a great setup, probably a months long storyline. I mean, we could be already on that storyline right now.
Something like Daniel Bryan and Triple H.
Just a great match, just a bunch of great spots, and one that if Triple H does put Seth Rollins over, just a great payoff. Probably, a character-breaking moment at the end there, too. So yeah,
That would be the one I would be most excited about out of all three members of the Shield if they were able to work with Triple H. So Seth Rollins and Triple H would be the best. So
Yeah.
that's what I would think.
so what's your number 3, Steve?
My number 3, I've wanted this for a very long time since Brock Lesnar has been back. And it hasn't happened yet, and he signed that new deal, so I'm very hopeful that this match could happen. That's Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. Can you imagine? That is a money match waiting to happen. That, like, just them two working together. Incredible. Like, you don't even need that's another thing. You don't need a storyline for that. Just have them brawl, talk, have Paul Heyman talk for Lesnar, set up the storyline. Orton, I think I'm better than you, like since 2002 and stuff like that. That's a Mania match again, or Summer, whatever you want to do it for. That's a good no-hold. You can do whatever kind of match you want with that too. And I think Orton would get the best out of Lesnar because Orton's probably one of the most underrated workers in the game of wrestling today. I mean, he's still young. He's only 35, and Lesnar's still young too. It'd just be an incredible match. People want to see this match in a high-profile match. It'd be awesome.
Could you imagine Orton countering an F5 into an RKO?
I want it to
How nuts
happen.
that would be.
It'd be hype. It would be absolutely crazy. I just would go. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
I mean,
it's that crazy.
I mean, just like look back at WrestleMania when Orton countered Seth Rollins' curb stomp into an RKO. We thought that was the greatest RKO of all time. Imagine if he did that with an F5.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing going to top that, but that F5 would be pretty close.
I said that a million times. I want to see an F5 into an RKO so bad. Just the perfect. I mean, if anyone's going to do it, it's Randy Orton. That guy.
Yep.
We've talked about it before as well. You can't look back and like really note that many times Randy Orton has ever messed up a giant spot. Like he just doesn't mess up. That guy is always on point with what he's doing.
Yep.
That's why he's one of my top 3 favorite wrestlers of all time. Him, Edge, and Taker. I would definitely love to see that match. It's not on my top 5, but it's not far off from it either.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier on my list with Owens versus Lesnar, I think Randy Orton versus Lesnar has a very similar feel where it's going to be a battle of, Randy Orton and Owens. They'd have to target Lesnar. They'd have to break him down, break the beast apart. And, Randy Orton is often attributed to like a snake. He has
the Viper.
Very Viper-like, Cobra, quick attacks.
Right.
So seeing him slowly break down Brock Lesnar would be awesome.
It would be awesome. It really would. So, I guess it's off to the next matches.
All right.
Yeah, list of
So
twos.
that brings us to 2. Cap, what's your second dream match?
These are
Second
both
top
people.
dream match.
Yeah, both people that have already been on my list again, and I promise my number ones. They're different people, but for this one, more repeats. It's going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Brock Lesnar. I feel like we keep saying these guys' names over and over again, but it just goes to show how great they are and how much of an impact they've had on all of us as fans. Austin versus Lesnar is the match, in my opinion, that sent Stone Cold Steve Austin out of the WWE.
Yep.
Obviously, there's a lot of things that went into it. No one's ever going to know, the full thing except for Stone Cold and Vince McMahon. However, it's very widely known that Austin was asked to put over Brock Lesnar on a throwaway show on a Monday Night Raw, and Austin wouldn't do it, and he essentially walked from the company because of that. So,
I agree with Austin.
this is the match that, in my opinion, retired Stone Cold Steve Austin prematurely, and it didn't even happen.
Because he only had one more match after that.
Yeah, so to see this actually happen, it's been building up for over a decade. It's
more than a decade.
It's 2 careers that are, slightly parallel to each other for no real reason. One ends, one begins, and to see them finally match up, it would just be awesome.
I would faint. But
the ultimate ass kicker in Stone Cold Steve Austin. Brock gets a lot of it today that he's like, the big beast in the WWE. It's his yard. Everyone has to go up the food chain, and Brock Lesnar's at the very top. But when Austin was in his heyday, nobody messed with Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could come out there, you could hit him with a chair, you could hit him with a bat, you could blah, 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 whatever. He'll be gushing blood. He's going to get back up.
You arrest him for the night.
Yep, he's going to hit you with a stunner. So to see Brock try and take that down and to see Austin just keep coming up, keep coming for more stunners, and vice versa, amazing.
And here's the thing. There are rumors going around. I mean, I feel like there have been rumors for years of when Steve Austin could potentially come back for one more match.
Definitely.
This is it, though. This year. But yeah. I mean, there's nothing official really to go off of, but you Right.
can kind of see the seeds being planted there potentially. It goes back to the Stone Cold podcast with Paul Heyman, where, Steve Austin just starts to cut a promo with Heyman, just kind of spontaneously, just to end the show, just completely out of nowhere, no pun intended.
Because Heyman called him out
I like that product placement, Nick.
Yeah, that whole promo starts, and I remember Steve texting me going, "What was that? Does that mean something?" And all I could say was, "I don't know, man. We'll see." But then, there's WrestleMania being in his hometown this year, just in Dallas, Texas. It's right there.
And right around the corner from us, another Austin podcast, but with Brock.
With Lesnar, and he is going to be on that Raw at the very same time. Now, you can't say anything for sure. We're probably going to know officially if this is a thing or not
at the
by
podcast.
by this coming Monday.
Yeah.
So, that question could be answered really soon of if this is going to happen or not.
And I think this, you kind of already alluded to this, this is Austin's true last time for a comeback. If Austin is ever going to come back to the WWE, whether it be for a little quick run from Royal Rumble to Mania or just he comes out of the Mania match, it's this year. It's in his home state. All the cards are there. Brock Lesnar doesn't have a clear opponent right now. He's having his rubber match with Taker at Hell in the Cell. So, he's on contract for 3 years. They're going to want to... What did Vince McMahon say? He wants to break records with this?
He wants to break the attendance record from WrestleMania 3.
How better do you break a record than put on the main event of a WrestleMania card in 2015, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Brock Lesnar?
I'll fake.
Yeah. I mean, if the pay-per-view was $150,
I'll pay.
Shell it out without even thinking about it.
Don't care.
Yeah. So that's my number 2 of all time, and as highly as I've spoken about this, goes to say how
and I think we're all in agreement that Steve Austin doesn't have any more than one match left in him.
Yeah.
There's only one opportunity to do this. So
this is it.
If this WrestleMania goes by, that's it.
He ain't doing it.
It's not a thing anymore.
Yep.
All right.
I don't think so, at least. But yeah.
All right. So, Steve, you want to do number 2 now?
Yeah, sure.
Second top dream match of all time.
Well, my second dream match of all time is one of theirs that we've already talked about, and that is Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that was me and Nick's
Had
number
it up
5.
a couple slots.
I want this match to happen so bad. It's ridiculous. I just think it would be absolutely incredible. These guys, I think, are some of the best sellers in the game of wrestling. I mean, Lesnar's sells are awesome with Taker and all that stuff. Just them two in a Mania match would just be so surreal, I think. Like, Kevin Owens coming from the Indies for 15 years and then getting to fight one of the biggest names in professional wrestling, Brock Lesnar.
The beast of the WWE versus the beast of the Indies. Exactly.
And just like all the, internet darlings would just go absolute berserk over this match, and so would I. It would be amazing. That's all I gotta say. Like, I don't know how to put it any better way. Like, you don't even need a stipulation for this match, honestly.
Yeah.
You don't.
Usually the booking in WWE is they book someone up weak, and it's the David versus Goliath story.
Well, this is definitely not it.
Is Goliath versus Goliath.
Yes.
If this happens. Just two absolute monsters. You put them in a room together. One kills the other one, and it walks out a lot.
Yeah,
there's no funny business here. It's just two absolute savages.
I would love to see a pop-up powerbomb by.
So this is something we really didn't talk about when you and I brought it up, Cap. Who would you have win that match ideally?
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Kevin Owens.
Because that's the ultimate passing of the torch when Lesnar beat Taker for the streak.
So this is the young guy getting put over.
Because Lesnar hasn't been pinned, but yeah.
If you can't have Owens take the streak from Taker, at least you can have him take the guy who took the streak.
Exactly.
So in the perfect world, Kevin Owens is the guy to take down the Beast.
Yeah, and again, as I was saying with the prize fighting, Owens going for Taker, the ultimate thing, his WrestleMania streak. I mean, right now, I would say pinning Brock Lesnar would be more important than winning the WWE Heavyweight Championship. If you're someone who says, I'm here to fight for prizes, if you go out there and pin Brock Lesnar clean, what else is there for you to do?
Can you imagine the promos Owens would cut the next night? Like,
with Paul Heyman?
Yeah. Oh! But, like, he's saying, I beat John Cena. I beat Kevin Owens. I beat this guy. I beat that guy. You can't stop me. Yep. I'm the prize fighter. Give me my world title.
Kevin Owens beat Kevin Owens. What?
Yes, Kevin Owens beat Kevin Owens. Exactly.
I told you I was working on that clone machine.
Exactly. But this match just we all want to see it. Obviously, it's all in our top 5. So I mean, this would just be such a fantastic match.
Yeah, and just as far as Owens winning that match clean, I mean that makes all the sense in the world to me.
Yep.
So, all right, my number 2 dream match of all time. Cap, you mentioned Owens versus Taker. I'm going to throw another NXT guy into the mix versus Taker. Finn Balor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finn
Oh
Balor.
man.
Just imagine the entrances those two would have. You have
Yeah.
Taker's entrance taking 20 minutes, and Finn Balor would just take his entrance to another level.
As amazing as the match would be, I don't even know if you could top the entrances. It would be absolutely ridiculous how cool that would be.
And I would have this match at WrestleMania. I would have this main event WrestleMania. Just imagine how long it would take Balor to get down that ramp.
It would just be 40 minutes of blackness in the arena with just demons popping up and druids and, tombstones, just all types of cool stuff. Fire, lightning.
I'm really mad I did not put this on my top 5. These are seriously my 2 favorite wrestlers of all time, and I'm baffled I did not.
And
pick
I mean,
this.
Undertaker, you know what he's capable of.
Yeah.
You have years worth of work to go
decades.
through. You know this guy is legit. And I mean, even though the streak isn't a thing anymore, well, it still is a thing. But now that the streak's no longer active,
Yes.
I don't think it takes away in this case, but it still means a lot. When you're going up against Taker, the first thing that's going to be brought up is that WrestleMania streak.
And the ultimate rub you get from fighting Undertaker.
It is a huge honor.
It is.
To be put in the match with Undertaker.
I mean, look at his opponents, He's fought Edge, he's fought Randy Orton, he's fought Batista, he's fought Shawn Michaels,
Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton.
You go back,
CM
go
Punk.
back in the day, Jake the Snake, King Kong Bundy, all these just absolute legends in wrestling.
Kevin
Undertaker has
Nash.
taken on. So to see someone like Finn Balor, as I said Owens earlier, that's awesome.
I mean, you have a legend in the making with Finn Balor right here. I mean, if you watch NXT, you know this guy's legit. If you watched him in the Indies, you know this guy's legit. I mean, he honestly, I don't want to sound like I'm gushing too much over this guy, but he is really one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. I mean, this guy has it all down from the gimmick to the technicality to the moves he can pull out. I mean, he's just entertaining to watch. Pain or not, I mean, it's awesome when he breaks out the pain for a pay-per-view. But even then, just a typical match is just awesome to watch, usually. I don't think I've ever seen a bad match from him.
He's my favorite superstar right now.
And I mean,
so.
just looking up and down the main roster, the NXT card, I mean, there's Kevin Owens. Yeah, he would be a good match, but I don't think anyone would be better than Finn Balor.
Yeah, we were actually, me and Steve were talking about this before the podcast went on, who we would think would be the true, if we could rebook everything, who should take his streak, Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania, and we settled on Kevin Owens ourselves, but our number 2 is Finn Balor, and it's not like
because he would be a great heel.
You can't go wrong, if Finn Balor wins it, Kevin Owens wins it, it would just be awesome.
Finn Balor would be a great heel, though. I mean,
and this is one where Finn Balor wins this.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And
this is probably ends Taker's career.
This is one of the things where I wish Brock Lesnar never beat Undertaker, because I think, looking at it now, if the streak was still active, this is my guy to end it. This is my guy to take the streak.
Yeah,
I would love that, honestly, because they're my 2 favorites of all time.
Yeah, I would not oppose it.
All right, so we're down to our number ones now. Before we get into those, let's just recap all our lists so far. Stuttered there, my bad. So, Cap...
I'll start. I'll go 5 to 2 right here.
Well, go honorable mention, then 5 down through 2.
Okay, so my actual honorable mention, not Blake versus Murphy, was a Battle of Nations, Kurt Angle versus Bret Hart. Kurt Angle's the heel, Bret Hart's the face. They're in Canada just going at it. My actual top 5 here, starting would be Owens versus Lesnar. Ideally, it would be a brawl or a Hell in a Cell match where these two can just absolutely destroy each other. And I don't think it would be in doubt that they would come out and put on a show.
Oh, God.
4, Ambrose versus Austin. Here, again, I want this to be a brawl. This is one that I would love to be a backstage brawl where they're fighting all over the locker room, just, embracing the chaos that the Austin character and the Ambrose character always operated in at their peaks.
Yep.
My number 3, Kevin Owens versus The Undertaker. Undertaker's streak's still alive for this match. Kevin Owens is targeting it. He's the big game hunter out here, and he's going for the ultimate prize, and that's The Undertaker streak. All the mind games going into it. Owens wins that for me. And my number 2 would be Steve Austin versus Brock Lesnar. For reasons said before, this is the match that made Owens go out. And I want to say it.
You mean Austin?
Yeah, Austin. This is the match that made Austin go out, and I really want to say it after, over a decade of feuding.
Yeah, over a decade. Yeah, it's crazy. My honorable mention was Rollins and Edge. I just think of Ultimate Opportunist versus Architect. I think that'd be really interesting. Be an excellent match. My number 5 would be Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. And that match alone would be absolutely incredible.
Weird pronunciation there.
I like it.
Even weirder pronunciation.
You're welcome.
Even weirder. Not really.
My number 4 would be Daniel Bryan versus Kurt Angle. Be one of the best technical matches you'd see in your lifetime. That's a match you'd want to watch 20 years from now after you've seen it the first time. My third match was another match I really want to see badly. It was Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar. Another match that would just put butts in seats. Ultimate pay-per-view buys, network subscriptions. Something they need to do in the future would be absolutely amazing. And finally, my number 2 for right now is Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar. And this would just tear that damn house down, man. Like he said before, Hell in the Cell, I'm right there with you. Do Elimination Chamber between the two. Make it even better. But yeah, that's my up to 2 so far.
All right, so my honorable mention would be Rookie Cena versus present day Cena. Thugonomics versus You Can't See Me Super Cena.
Word Life.
Word Life versus Never Give Up. Yeah.
Hustle, loyalty, and respect.
All of that in one match. My number 5 all-time dream match, Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar. My number 4 all-time dream match, Dean Ambrose versus Steve Austin. Number 3, Seth Rollins versus Triple H. And number 2, Finn Balor versus Undertaker. All of them would be awesome.
Yeah, I
mean, they really would.
After listing all our matches again, 5 to 2 in the honorable mentions, I don't think you can go wrong with any of
these matches. I can't bitch about any of them. They all sound great.
If any of these were to actually be booked, you can count me right in for getting the ticket to the show.
You can count me marking out the whole time.
Okay. So now we're down to our number 1s. Cap, what is your number 1 all-time dream match? The one you most want to see.
Okay.
Drum roll.
If I could take any match from all time, I take the greatest WWE superstar of all time, Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, and I put him against Dolph Ziggler.
The love of his life.
Yes. Dolph Ziggler's biggest fanboy right here. I would absolutely kill to see this match. All joking aside, this would be an absolute technical masterpiece for showmanship in wrestling. It's not going to be a ground and pound match like you would with submission specialists. These are two guys who are some of the best in the business. I would say Shawn Michaels is the best in the business at just putting on a show in the ring. That dude hits his offense perfectly. He sells perfectly. Just everything about him. He's athletic. He's the perfect size where he can work with any opponent. And you put him right there against, almost a 2.0 version of him in the modern day in Dolph Ziggler. He doesn't have the name that Shawn Michaels has in the history of wrestling, but, almost every bit of skill is right there in Dolph Ziggler. That dude is, I think, without a doubt, the best seller in WWE anymore.
Yeah, he definitely is.
That dude gets punched and it looks like he might go down for the 3 count.
He takes spears like champs.
Yeah. When Roman Reigns speared him, I thought he was
God. I thought so too.
But yeah, just to see these two go back to back, super kick after super kick, sweet chin music, not a super kick when Shawn Michaels does it, the zigzag,
sharpshooter by Shawn Michaels.
I could ramble about this,
Shawn Michaels
all day
top elbow drop he does, which is nice.
The match itself is going to be, I was really debating. I really wanted to go with the ladder match at first, just because of obviously Shawn Michaels' history with ladder matches.
Yeah.
And we all know WrestleMania 10, Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
and Dolph Ziggler's no slouch to them either. But it's going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match. It's not going to be an Iron Man
That's
match.
how I would book it.
That's originally what I wanted to go with. But 2 out of 3 falls, just seeing these two go back-to-back near finishers, I think if I had to rank, I would put Dolph Ziggler like top all-time for the false finish, kicking out at the last second. I think that dude is absolutely amazing at that.
He's definitely up there.
So to see that in a 2 out of 3 falls with someone as crisp as Shawn Michaels, a worker,
Yeah.
you couldn't ask me for a better match. It's funny. This is, I've said this for a long time. This is my number one.
Yeah, we all know.
I was watching an interview before with Dolph Ziggler, and they said if you could go and put yourself in a fantasy match with anybody, who would it be? And he said Shawn Michaels himself as well. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Wow.
But yeah, that's my number one.
It's a shame Shawn Michaels is committed to being retired because he's still kind of young to go.
Yeah,
at this
you
age.
see Sting come out there. You see Undertaker come out there. You see Ric Flair come out there, 10 years ago when he was 85.
Shawn Michaels is only
So,
48.
Yeah.
Like, he could still wrestle. It's a shame he couldn't just come back for one match this year in Dallas,
It's just
Texas.
injuries,
Yeah, I guess he's worried about
back,
that.
legs.
Yeah.
So,
He just wants to stay healthy, and that's
but
fine.
yeah, but for this match, obviously they're in their prime, so we don't have to worry about any of that in our
Right.
fantasy booking world. But yeah, without sounding redundant, this is my number one. It's my favorite all time.
Yeah.
All right, it's a good pick. Steve, your number one all-time dream match.
My number
It's the
one.
worst drum roll I've ever heard.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was, guys. My number one pick was already picked earlier. Yeah, of course. I can't have an original one. Sorry, guys. But Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Brock Lesnar. Oh, Mike already picked that one. But it would be, and just go nuts when I hear the name Stone Cold Steve Austin and Brock Lesnar just like together.
Yeah.
It's just something like a Texas death match, what Austin said would be the only way he would fight, what he said on this podcast with Heyman, which is whatever. But it'd just be the storyline between the two. They'd be kicking each other's ass, like just brawling, and Heyman would be cutting promos. You see Austin hitting a stunner on Heyman. Lesnar's attacking him like in his home or something. I don't know. It'd just be amazing, like a real life experience. I don't know.
And I
It'd
mean,
just be amazing.
to go back to the podcast, I mean, you already got a taste of what those promos would be like between Austin and Paul Heyman.
Yeah, little snippets.
And you got, it's not ever been, a real pronounced thing, but a lot of people who pay attention to the backstage WWE know about this. This has been like a slow burn rivalry, a rivalry that's not really there between the guys themselves. However, if you could play that into a feud, something that's been brewing since, 2002, 2003?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
I'm making a prediction right now. I'm calling that this match is happening at WrestleMania. Just because the
very
booking
much hope so.
of Undertaker and Brock Lesnar at Hell in a Cell, I'm calling it. I think it's going to happen.
I want to say that it was right around this time last year you said definitively that Rusev and John Cena were going to fight at WrestleMania. So,
I did.
Let's,
I make some pretty good calls, and I called Undertaker Lesnar at Hell in a Cell.
Let's hope
too,
some
by
of
the way.
this. Let's hope some of that magic.
Let's hope.
Steve booking wears off on this Mania.
Can you imagine this match? The hype of this match, like Attitude Era versus Ruthless Aggression Era. Oh,
Yeah.
the two at the top of their game.
I don't think you could pick any two people from those respective eras that define the name of their era. Ruthless Aggression, Brock Lesnar.
Attitude Era.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Two of the biggest ass kissers.
Wrong word.
Kickers. Botched it there.
Show's over, folks. Good night.
But what I meant was that they're two big ass kickers, and it would just be absolutely incredible. Like they would just tear each other apart, and this would absolutely need to be a no disqualification match or something, or no holds barred. I just would absolutely love it. I know that came off entirely wrong, guys. Shut up. Whatever. But Austin Lesnar is my number one match. It needs to happen. Make it happen, Vince. It would sell out the damn arena. Please. It would just be absolutely incredible. Now start jumping, guys.
I thought you were going to top off ass kissing what they were going to tear each other's asses. I thought you were about to say they're going to tear each other's asses apart.
Well, I stopped myself, so.
All right, so Nick.
They're going to kick a lot of ass.
Thank you.
Let's just sum it up right there.
That's what I meant.
They're going to kick each other's asses.
That's what I meant.
To
Pressure's
be as
gone.
clear as possible.
You have
After that awful
Hell
botch.
yeah.
You have the last
Shut
number
up.
one of all of our number ones, so
All right.
Let's get an actual drum roll.
Boo.
Why you booing me? You would love this.
No.
Says no. All right. Without further ado, Nick, let's go.
All right. Well, I couldn't believe neither of you guys thought of this one because this would be amazing. Montreal, Canada. Bret the Hitman Hart in his prime versus Sami Zayn. That would be
Yeah, the pop of that place for that match, it would be deafening.
crowd would be split. They wouldn't know what to. You would have the crowd turning like every 5 seconds in favor of Bret Hart, then Sami Zayn. It'll just go between that and ole.
Can you imagine the amount of ole chants you're gonna get the whole? It's gonna go throughout the whole match.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, those two, obviously they existed in different eras in wrestling, but they already kind of have a little history. Sami Zayn was brought out by
Bret Hart.
For his main run. Well, not his actual debut,
But John Cena
but his
could
real
challenge.
debut.
Yeah.
I mean, that crowd was just as happy to see Bret Hart introduce him as
Absolutely.
actually seeing Sami Zayn come out and debut on the main roster for the first time.
Bret Hart's the biggest name in Canada wrestling history, I would think.
And I mean, Sami Zayn, you know what he's capable of if you go back and watch what he does on the indies is El Generico.
Hey, check out NXT on the network too.
Now, Nick, I have a bone to pick with you about this pick.
Okay.
I think you might be a Canadian spy because your number one overall is Canadian versus Canadian. You're wearing a hockey thing right now where you're playing NHL behind us and you're drinking a Canadian beer.
He wants
This
to
is
move to
all
Canada,
true.
guys.
This is all very true. And yeah,
You guys are seeing a spy exposed on a podcast.
That's
You Canadian scum.
when I talk, the top half of my head just pops off.
I never noticed that before today.
oh man, but yeah, Sami Zayn.
But yeah,
Bret
Sami
Hart.
Zayn versus Bret Hart would be a good match, eh?
Yeah.
No, really, like
Yeah, realistically though, this would be.
technically, like both these guys, just wow. Like, and Sami Zayn with this spots he pulls off, like the ring spots on top rope and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, technically
Incredible.
speaking, this would be a really sound match. This would have plenty of good spots.
Both have submission moves as
And
well.
the cool thing, that's what I was about to say. The cool thing with these two guys is they can both really operate very well in any style of match. So you could put them in a submission match. You could put them in a match where Bret Hart's the big bad dog going up against the young, the young
Up-and-comer.
upstart and
Yeah.
Sami Zayn. Or you could have a battle of equals between them. You could have a brawl where Sami Zayn's hitting tornado DDTs on the outside. There's so
Perfect
much cool stuff these
storyline.
guys could
Perfect
do.
storyline for any kind of them. It'd be great.
But yeah, that
I would love to see that match.
that's not a bad way to cap off.
Just
that's
for
an
the crowd reaction alone. I mean, and you can't have that match any other place but Montreal.
No, 100% no.
It just wouldn't.
I think
happen
anywhere
anywhere
in Canada would be fine, but yeah, Montreal would be the top spot.
Yeah, if you could pick, fantasy booking.
Fantasy booking, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
The thing is, though, like, there's just so many good wrestlers in this business. Like, it's so hard to make a top five.
yeah.
you know?
So just to recap our number ones: Cap, Shawn Michaels versus Dolph Ziggler.
Yes.
Steve, Brock Lesnar versus Steve Austin.
Yes, and it's going to happen.
Potentially.
I'm calling it.
Okay then. And me, Sami Zayn versus Bret Hart. And I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who disagree with the list, but that's cool. That's cool to have your own opinion, to have your own list. I mean, people listening to this might think we're idiots for, you have Sami Zayn, Bret Hart number one? No way. You have Lesnar, Austin number one? No, not in a million years. You have
Randy Orton and Lesnar 3. Like,
Shawn Michaels is in your number one versus Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler's a mid-card guy.
Yeah. That's what I actually wanted to bring up here towards the end of it. I actually botched a little bit going into this. We actually had more. I botched. We had way more. We had way more people on our list, respectively, before we did this. We changed the formatting up, but the list was thrown out. Let's not go too far into.
Oh, he was thrown out by his dad.
All right, yeah. I'll tell this story real quick. So we were originally going to do one top 10 list between the three of us. We did it like a couple weeks ago.
So much time and effort put into this list.
By me. All by me.
Shut up, Steve.
No. And it was thrown out like a piece of trash.
No, we all wrote out our top 10
Yeah.
matches that we most wanted to see, and a couple honorable mentions. Cena versus Cena made the honorable mention, so I'm all good with that. But we all made our top 10 list, and then we just kind of did this ranking system based on points, and whoever had the most points
Yeah, it was weighted towards where you were ranked.
made the
which
top
is
10 list, and then we just kind of ranked them 1 through 10 from there. And then Cap comes over tonight. We're recording this on a Saturday night after the MSG special.
The ultimate
And he
heel
goes,
turn.
Guys, I have good news and bad news. The good news is I finished making the list, and we're like, okay, what's the bad news? My dad might have thrown it out.
Heel tactics.
So all throughout the Madison Square Garden special, we were just remaking our own list, and we decided to each just do our own personal top fives and present that. And quite honestly, I think that worked a lot better. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I kind of preferred that way, actually. I'm actually happy it worked out that way, honestly.
Yeah, I have just a little quick list right here of all the people included in our respective top fives. I thought it'd be cool to just read off. We've got all the people included in all our matches are Shawn Michaels, Dolph Ziggler, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Brock Lesnar, Kevin Owens, The Undertaker, Dean Ambrose, Finn Balor, Daniel Bryan, Kurt Angle, Triple H, Sami Zayn, Bret Hart, and Randy Orton. That is not a bad list of wrestlers.
And, there's a lot
compose some
more
dream
to think
matches.
of as well.
Yeah. As I said, we put a lot of time into the list before this, the one that we had before, and we obviously put a lot of thought into the ones that we created now.
Yes, we did.
But as you might have noticed, most of the people that we have are from the Attitude Era and up, with the exception of Bret Hart, who was a little bit before the Attitude Era, and obviously Undertaker and Stone Cold wrestled before then too. But that's just because that's where we grew up in wrestling. That's the people we're familiar with. So if any of our listeners out there, want to throw some respect back to the older days,
like Hogan, Piper,
put some of
Ultimate
those
Warrior,
old guys
Savage,
in there, Ric
Flair,
Fly, Superstar Billy Grant, anyone.
Jake the Snake Roberts, Bruno San Martino.
If you want to make your own top five, we really would love it if you guys put it in the comments, give us your reasons, or just list it. We're really happy to hear from our viewers.
I would love to see.
Yeah, that would be really
in
interesting to see what people have to say.
And
cool.
I just want to take note of one thing, which I think is really interesting. A lot of our matches have NXT guys in them.
Yeah, we most of our matches, a really cool aspect of them is, some of them are a little bit of a stretch, but a lot of them have a potential to happen.
Yes.
So that's cool as a fan
And
for all of us that, some of our dreams really might play out.
A lot of these are old versus new, passing the torch type scenarios.
Yeah.
And I like those matches a lot. I think they can work out well if they're booked very well.
Wrestling is cool.
Wrestling is cool.
So how about we wrap this up, guys?
Yeah, that was not bad. It's our first Outta Nowhere edition of the Smark Show. We hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, we had a good time with this.
As we said before, these are going to be coming out of nowhere, so we don't know when to expect the next one. We don't know what the topic's going to be.
Undisclosed time, undisclosed date.
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
We'll give you the
Undisclosed
next
platform.
topic whenever we think
We
of
might
it too.
we might put one of these up on Daily Motion.
Yeah. Little Easter egg hunt.
But no, yeah, this will do it for the very first Out of Nowhere edition of the Smark Show. Just us talking about our top 5 dream matches. You can listen to us on YouTube and SoundCloud. Like this episode if you enjoyed it. You can
just
also
like it even if you didn't. That'd be cool too.
Yeah, please like it.
I mean, it would be nice, but
Don't make us beg.
Hit the like button, please. Thank you.
It would be nice, but if you didn't enjoy it, then I would feel bad that you hit the button and you're kind of you weren't into it.
Hit the button.
Anyway, subscribe for a new episode every week.
And shout out to our subscribers. Thank you to the few of you out there who are already subscribed.
Yeah, 2 months
you
in
guys
already.
are really awesome.
Yeah, it really means a lot to us.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Yeah, but anyway, subscribe every week for a new episode, or subscribe for a new episode every week. Said that backwards. And while you're at it, I mean, since this is an offshoot episode, go back and listen to our most recent episode, episode 8, the mainline one. We talked about this past week's Raw. Wasn't that good?
Yeah, talked about the NXT panel.
From SummerSlam, and we talked about the NXT episodes.
MSG
itself.
card as well.
Yeah, and just some random...
Just ramblings, just what business is going on right now with the wrestling business.
So
yeah.
go ahead and take a listen to that if you have like an hour and 20 minutes or so. And again, comment with your top 5 dream matches, the ones you most want to see. Again, we would love to see.
We would
your
love to
list.
see that. That'd be cool.
And you can also reach out to us on Twitter if there is something specific that you did not like or did like about our top 5 list, respectively. Cap, where can they find you on Twitter?
You cannot find me on Twitter.
Okay, then.
I love how you actually ask that to him all the time. I'm sorry.
I mean, I never
Who
fail to get
knows?
a
One
response.
of these days I might face turn and make a Twitter. So.
That would be the ultimate face turn.
Twitter Outta Nowhere Edition.
Right?
My Twitter's Steve Herman 10.
And I am at It's Nick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'll do it for us, guys. Until next time.
Peace out.